Welcome to the Yes and podcast, a space where we embrace life with courage, purpose, and possibility. Hi, I'm Claire Darr. I'm a former corporate lawyer turned executive coach. I'm a wife, a mom, and a believer in living boldly. Here, we're going to dive into saying yes to what truly matters: family, faith, career, and creating a legacy of joy and fulfillment. Together, we'll explore what happens when we step beyond the limits, ask for more, and say yes and to the extraordinary. It's time to live a life you can't wait to wake up for. Let's get started. Today on the Yes and podcast, I have a super special guest. My dearest friend, my coach, my mentor, my confidant, my so many things, Dr. Donna Elliott. I'll introduce her a little at the beginning of this, but I just wanted to do a separate special introduction to her and our interview. It's a longer one. We could have kept talking. In fact, we may come back with a series. She's been with me for more than the majority of my life. She's been with me since I was 5 years old. And our friendship will last a lifetime. And I am so grateful that it's become more than just a friendship. You know, we do business together. We get to talk together every day about life, about everything, about deep things, about small things, and she's a gift to me. And I hope you enjoy the next 60 minutes or so of me and her chatting the way we do. And there is so much wisdom here. Enjoy it. Hello, friend. How are you?
Hello. This is so exciting that we get to do this together.
I know. I have been dying to do this for weeks, and I woke up this morning and I was like, I get to spend time with one of my favorite people in the whole world, and like a sister. I've known you forever. And then we realized we'd even showered for each other and put on matching shirts today, didn't we?
Ta-da. Yes, for those of you audio only, we've both rocked up with our hair down, all tousled. Claire's more tousled than me, and with navy V-neck like shirts on, which was not what I had planned to wear, and literally swapped it over in about 5 minutes before we were recording.
Same here. Not at all what I was planning on wearing. Had a different thing on, and then I just looked and I was like, oh, I'll put this on today.
Crazy.
Isn't that funny?
It's crazy. But I was sitting thinking this morning, if you had told little Donna and little Claire when we were in like junior school and infant school together, one day you girls will be like live together, you'll be running businesses together, you'll be bringing up kids together, you'll be doing a podcast together, we would have said, shut up. We wouldn't have believed it.
We wouldn't have believed it. And by the way, I'm probably going to cry and do all the things, because like Donna is truly like one of my dearest, best, longest, I'm not going to say the oldest, not. No.
Longest.
forever friends. She's that category of person who, when they say like, what is it? A reason, a season, or a lifetime? She's a lifetime friend. We're lifers. We're together until the day we decide not to be together. And we, and yeah, I mean, I remember the day let's do a formal introduction. This is Dr. Donna Elliott. Doctor, we're going to talk about that in a bit.
That's crazy.
From Now Is Your Time. And I'm in Dallas, Texas. She's in South Shields, UK. So we're on opposite sides of the Atlantic, which is a feat in itself that we're able to like make this work. And she is my coach and mentor and guide and confidant and agony aunt and drinking partner and walking partner and do everything in life together partner. And That was your formal bio.
I love it. I love it. It should just, and the men are just for decoration. It's like the men are just like the little thing, the little trinkets that we have. We get to have each other for life.
We have each other for life. But honestly, you say that though, Donna, because we're gonna talk about your version of a yes and life, what it means for you, and this podcast and this movement, I'm going to call it a movement.
It is a movement. It is.
Actually was birthed when I was home 2 years ago, having our many walks. But funny you throw in about the men, because I mean, me and you both designed our lives the way we wanted them before the men that are in our life, before the men's were there, before the children's were there. Like, we designed it, and then we talked about what it would look like, and we talked about what they would be like before they were even around. Yeah. And then we talked about what it'd be like with the kids. And it just so happens that my husband and your husband get along really well.
Like a house on fire.
And I mean, just really easy. And then our kids get along really well. It's like little Ava was like, so is he like a blood relation? Is Caleb like a blood relation? And I was like, no, but it's actually better than that, because he's like you. She's like, so he's like my cousin, but he's not my cousin. I was like, yeah, he is your cousin. But, and she's like, and Auntie Donna, is she like really my aunt? And I was like, well, yeah, she is. But she's like, but you're like, she's not your sister. And I was like, well, grandma did not give birth to it. No. But we are family, right? And
it's the family you choose, which is even better, right? It's like
better. And so I've been explaining that to them. She's like, well, because I got a lot of aunties. I'm very lucky. I was like, yes, you are. You are.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we designed this life.
We did. Like from
this yes and life.
From scratch. And it was, I mean, and I'll never forget that conversation. It was a Saturday evening. I mean, my life had gone like a hell in a handcart, right? It was like divorce and breakup and near bankruptcy. And we were like, we didn't look at how it was though, did we? We were always very good at like, but this is like a blip. How is it going to be? And you having that conversation with me got me through more than one weekend sitting here thinking, oh my God, like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? When I was going through that really awful time of life, where it felt awful at the time, but I think we always knew, didn't we, that this was like that it was leading us somewhere. Like, there was always, whenever we've had challenging times in our life, we've looked at it and just thought, what, like, we wouldn't have used the language, it's preparing us for something then, but we were just like, it's going to get better. Like, this is all happening for a reason. We don't know what it is, but it's going to get better. And at the times when we've had very little, when the money hasn't been there, or the man hasn't been there, or the job hasn't been there, or the happiness didn't feel like it was immediately available, let's just say, we would be on the phone going, just imagine. And like that power of imagination, like Neville Goddard speaks of this all the time, who's one of our greatest New Thought teachers, right? And that power of imagination is the biggest faculty and has got us out of many a hole.
It really has. And the brilliant thing about all of that, yes, what she just said, by the way, she says it a lot more eloquently than I do. But the brilliant thing about it is, when we were doing that all those years ago, I mean, literally, when we say we've known each other since we were like 4 or 5 years old, right? And at every stage of our life, it's not always been easy breezy. We've both gone through a lot of stuff. It was, we just knew it. It's like we knew it. And now, have there been little periods of our life where we probably forgot it for a bit, or didn't look at it? Yes, because you get caught up in the lifing at you, but then we're able to come back to who we were and remember who we were and remember how we felt when we were dreaming and visioning and imagining as kids, because we knew that when we were stand-up infants and juniors, and then Brinkburn Comp, right? And for anyone from South Shields, they know they're like the fanciest schools in town, right? Although stand-up is, stand-up now has Anne and John Hetherington on the school board now. So stand-up is doing things. Brinkburn, they just got rid of. But
they just knocked it down. It was easier.
They just knocked it down. But us then, like we knew there was going to be more for us. We knew we knew we could say, yes, I want this and I want that and I want that, even though everything on paper was stacked against us in a lot of
Against.
ways where we'd come from. Neither of us had anyone, I think it's true of you, it's true of me, in the family
No,
that had gone to university.
no, no
And
universities, no businesses, none of that. That was not the norm. It's like
didn't
what we
travel.
didn't travel like we do. None of it was the norm. None of what we do was the norm. Like none of this was. We didn't grow up wanting these things because we grew up seeing other people having them. Like the nearest
No,
we have to the life we've got was you watching LA Law and me being obsessed with Harry Hamlin and Grace. Like that was like the nearest thing we had to. Oh, we want that. We would like that life, please, not this one. Like I watch Coronation Street and I was just think, I don't want this bloody life. I want that life. I want Dallas and I want LA Law life. Like that's the life I want. But you went and really, really did it.
I took it to the extreme. I was
Like-
a bit too literal. I was a bit literal with all of that.
Exactly. I wanted like the money and the clothes and stuff, but I didn't want you to like move across the bloody Atlantic, but you did.
I know. But you know what's really funny about that? Is like this yes and life we're living right now. The plan I have, I've sort of clued Brett in on it a little bit.
A little bit, just the bits he needs to know.
Brings me back around to now my yes and life involves me being in South Shields, sunny South Shields as we lovingly call it, which it has been.
Yeah,
lately.
Costa del
Hello.
Shields. It's sunny today.
Costa del Shields has me coming back and spending a huge chunk of my life there.
Yeah.
And so it's funny, it all like comes full circle. But yes, not but. And you and I, like, I bet you some of those teachers from back then, and we had the same teachers, so we can both like immediately, you're better at remembering people's names and stuff than I am, but those teachers, honestly, if they had a hand on heart say, they probably would have called it and said, like, Donna and Claire will go and do something. No doubt. Like, they probably aren't that surprised based on who we were then too, but we just didn't know how it was going to happen, did we? We didn't know the how.
No, I completely agree. I don't think any of our teachers would bat an eyelid if they could see us now. And some of them have seen us, right? And we know like they're super proud, which I love. And yeah, I don't think, I mean, I remember one of our teachers who was like our head of year retired the year that we left school, Mr. Roberts, because he was like, it's not going to get better than this. And we were like, oh, he was like, you're like the best kids ever. And we were nice kids, but we were always quite old for our years. We always stuck up for people who needed to be stuck up for. We just wanted better for ourselves. And I think it's a beautiful example of how we always say like the universe is expressing itself through you. So the universe is speaking through you. A lady was just DMing me on Instagram before about this, and she'd been doubting herself. And I'm like, but you're so naturally good at it. Like that's the universe showing off through you. So these desires, these wants, these dreams that you have, like none of them are accidental. You're having them and you're feeling them because it's possible for you. But the thing that we doubt is our ability to have them, which is crazy, rather than doubting the doubts. Like the doubts of the human thing getting in the way, right?
And you know what? It's funny. I heard this Course in Miracles quote this morning, and I had to quickly jot it down on my phone, of course, because that's all I had with me. As an aside, before I get there, by the way, people, when me and Donna get in a room, like literally, like Brett's head like does this because it's like it's back and forth, It only makes sense to me and Donna. Like we talk in code sometimes, and we bypass words or we finish each other's sentences.
Yeah. So you're in our room now. If you're listening to this, you're in our room now.
You're all
so
over
just
the place.
like
Yes.
keep up, people.
Like get a cup of tea or an espresso martini or whatever you want. Did you know that Mr. Roberts and his wife came and visited me in Dallas? Did you know that?
And I did not know that.
Funny you said Mr. Roberts. He's passed away since. God love him. They were on an American tour. He knew I was here. We made arrangements. Like I went and picked them up, took them out for the day, took them out to dinner. Like
that's amazing. So he actually got to say you living your best life.
When you said, I thought you knew that. Like he had actually seen me living this life. Isn't that cool?
That is incredible.
I took it to my office. I took like literally it was like I had like my granddad in town and I was taking him
Yeah.
all over. This is where I work, this is where I live, this is like, isn't that
Oh my
cool?
goodness.
Anyway,
I love that so much for him though.
isn't that amazing? Yes. So,
Yeah.
but I heard this whole Course in Miracles quote, which you probably have heard, is like these limiting beliefs, which you have been an amazing teacher to me in the past, well, 7 years, but more structured in the past year and a half.
Mm.
But the limiting beliefs, noticing them, acknowledging them, and then turning them around,
Yeah.
catch it, challenge it, change it
Yeah.
is one of the things you've taught me. But I heard this thing that limiting beliefs are a crazy idea we forgot to laugh at.
Yeah, 100%. Because they're so ridiculous sometimes. They're so ridiculous. But we listen to them and we give them credence as if they're real.
Right. And they're all an illusion and it's all delusional, right? I mean,
Yeah.
thinking, I can't do this, I can't do that, I haven't done it before, who wants this, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. Thinking all of that is equally as delusional as thinking, I could be the best of the best, I can do this, I can do that. Neither of them right now in this minute are 100% categorically true, but which one will actually do what you get you where you want to be?
Where you want to be. Exactly. Because either of them be true, because everything is relative, right? So everything
Right.
is true if you believe it. So it's like, and you get to choose. You get to choose what you believe. But I went through the first several decades of my life not really understanding that, making horrific life choices a huge part of the time and getting myself in terrible situations and trouble because I didn't think I could think my thoughts. I just thought my thoughts thought me. And then I
Right.
was just like along for the ride. And like that was just like how life was.
We believed it. We believed the lie. And it is an absolute lie that the world tells us that your thoughts are you and that you have to just accept and make the
Just who
best
you
and
are. Just who you
and
are.
it's just a situation and that's not things I hate or are that's not practical.
Yeah.
That's not realistic.
Not realistic.
You want to ban the word realistic. Like I know I've got to be
Hate it.
careful. In reality, you hate
Reality.
that, right? In reality, what comes after in reality is like crap. In
Yeah.
reality, I can't really,
Yeah.
but we believed that lie for a bit, and now we're like completely blowing the lid off it, and you are in big, humongous ways blowing the lid off that lie, and literally having people rewire their brains, right?
Yeah.
That's like being your baby for the past 2
Oh
3
God, yeah.
years
Yeah.
really is really how to teach people the brilliant art of rewiring their brain
Yeah.
and that you have it all within you, right? That
Mm-hmm.
your subconscious knows.
Yeah.
And I mean, good, if I could, so literally I have Donna in my ear and on my phone every day, like regardless, like we talk, we're back and forth, we're doing all the thing. And then even if I don't have my phone in my hand, I've got Donna in my brain and in my ear with all of the things you've taught me about how to use my brain.
How to use your brain. Like how to literally use it. We're not taught
Use
how
my
to use a brain, Claire. We are not taught how to use our brain. Like, and this is the thing. It's like the program. We think that the program is the brain. So the program being, well, I'm not good enough for it. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm too old. I don't look like them. Like we think that is our brain, and it's not. It's just the way that the thoughts that you've been having for a really long time are flowing through your brain. And if when you know how to use your brain and you get this thing where you go, what do you mean I can select the thoughts I think? I can actually choose a different thought. I can choose a different outcome from that thought. Like that blew my bloody mind when I found that out. Like that literally, I'm
Mhm.
like, what do you mean I can choose what do you mean I can choose the thoughts and then have a different outcome based on that? What? Because I just didn't, it sounds so simple now. And I fall foul like you, right? Of I think everybody now knows that because I know it. I think everybody knows it. And then I realize that people don't. They don't know
People
that
don't.
they don't know it. And they'll go, but it's
People
really
don't.
hard. Well, so is living with not enough money in jobs you hate, with your life living you, with the tail wagging the dog, with the, do you know what I mean? Like, that's hard too. You will have to choose your hard. Like,
Right.
because none of it is going to be easy if that's the way you live in your life. I lived my life like you. I always remember the line that you said to me on a, I know it was a podcast we did or a live in COVID, and you said, like, literally, I outsourced my life. And that hit me because I was like, shit, that's what I was doing too for a really long time, with 10 people having keys to my house, with, 5 or 6 nominated drivers to get my kid to nursery every day because I wasn't here, because I worked away. Because I believed at the time that the sacrifice I had for living a life where I had good money and a good job and got to pay for nice things for my kid and my family, because security was so important, trauma informed value, which I now understand. I thought that was more important than me having to be happy. Like, I didn't get to have both. I didn't
You
get to
didn't
be
get to have it
happy.
all.
No, of
No.
course not. I was just being a greedy bitch if you wanted to do that. Like, you've got a house over your head, and you're paying for nice, and it sounds like it's a materialistic thing. I want everyone to understand it's not. Like, I was from a council estate not far from where I now live, with my mum and dad having to fight really hard for us to have food sometimes. Like, so when you grow up with not enough, with not a lot and not enough sometimes, having enough and being able to have food and pay for things and look after my family was a super important driver for me. Again, trauma informed, which I now understand. It was trauma related, because I thought
Yes.
security was my core value. I now understand it isn't. Like we teach you guys, it's not. That's from what you needed. You then became that version of you, but the recipe was burnout. Like you experienced, I experienced constantly burning ourselves out
And
in
we
order to
thought that
fund.
was what we had to do. Like we thought you couldn't have, like you say, this and that, the house, the car, the family, the nice food, like whatever
the
it is.
security. It was the security. I wanted to make sure that they were okay. I didn't ever want them to have to be hungry, because I remember times when mom like literally didn't have enough food for everyone to go around, and it wasn't because my mum and dad weren't working; they worked their backsides off.
Your mom and dad always worked.
Always worked in multiple jobs sometimes, but it was like that's how life was. It was hard. Like, we grew up back in like the 70s, the 80s. It was hard. You didn't have credit cards and overdraft. Like, they didn't. They got cash, and then they earned it, and then they spent it, and they bought food. And so that was where my drive to look after my family came from. And like you said, I didn't think I got to have all of that. I'd grown up observing my parents working really hard, not having a lot themselves in order to give. So my sacrifice was, that's fine. I can do these things to my family. I can look after them. I just don't get to be with them very often because I'm always away working. That was the trade. That was the payoff.
You were never home. And I will say, as an aside, I don't mean to make a joke out of this, but because part of the past trauma you've had has been kind of around enoughness and food. Like, no one goes hungry in Donna's house.
Nobody will ever leave here.
I mean, she's the best hostess ever, hostesses with the mostesses ever, because she does, like, that's also part of you giving. And some of my core memories, by the way, of food that I love, that makes me feel safe and secure, were meals I had at your house that your mum made.
Yeah.
I talked about your mum the other day. I was making scrambled eggs, and Brett was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "This is the way Dorothy makes scrambled eggs." Like this, I witnessed her doing this, and it was like the best thing ever,
I love
and
that.
so I love that too. So what is, because by the way, we could be here for hours on end.
Forever. Like, buckle up, people. Take a seat. Get comfortable.
What is a yes and life for you? What does that mean?
I love this question. I mean, I love this whole podcast and the concept that sits behind it, that you bring to the world. I feel like, from somebody who believed that sacrifice was just required, for me, the yes and life means that I get to enjoy my life and be happy and have overflow and abundance in all things and have an impact at the same time. I don't believe that I should have to compromise one for the other when it comes to that. I don't believe it's always going to be like super, super easy. Like I said, but there's hard and then there's hard. There's like hard and then there's heavy. Do you know what I mean? Like, I believe wholeheartedly that you are here with this beautiful Dharma in your heart, that the universe has this incredible, these gifts that it's given you. And as you live out those gifts and as you bring those gifts to the world, because it knows that those gifts that you have are what the world really needs, whether that's because you're this brilliant writer that when you pick the book up, like somebody has this escapism and you feel like you're transported somewhere, or whether you have the gift of being able to create this beautiful interior design home so that when somebody walks in, their family feels safe and at home. Or whether it's because you can sit in front of someone like you can and see their brilliance and help them be the best of themselves and help them feel activated to go and do that thing. Like whatever that is, that's your gift. My job is that is your job, literally. Like that's my belief, that it's your job to go and do that and be that in the world. And that as you do that, you will be divinely compensated for doing it. And like, whereas my old self believed that it had to involve suffering and pain, and it was selfish to want more, and had to be grateful for everything I got. And there's a lot of like, we're brought up with generational religious trauma and all these things that have been used to suppress people for so many years to keep them thinking a certain way because that worked for the general machine. And like now there's this huge awakening. I'm here for it. Like I believe you get to be spiritual and sassy, and you get to be like fun and sweary and spiritually elevating other people at the same time. Like to me, it's all of those things. It's you being the biggest, grandest, boldest version of you. That's what my yes and life is.
Ooh, ooh. We shall be going back and finding that quote. That is absolutely it.
Mm.
That's absolutely it. And like you say, if I talk a lot, you talk about this too, about the ripple effect, right? Of the impact of each one of us, anyone listening, every single person listening can have a ripple effect in the world that they could never, ever measure, right? Because
Yeah.
if you wake up with only one thing on your heart, and that's to help one person, and you do it from this divinely inspired, this is in me, and I am here, I'm going to reach out and help you and use these gifts that you've been given.
Yeah.
Every single one of us has been given beautiful, beautiful, beautiful gifts that are unique to us, that only we can use the way they were intended to be used.
Mm.
But you have to ask what it is, because we know we've been given this download, right?
Yeah.
This divine download.
Yeah.
We know what that is. Sometimes we just don't ask, and or we don't listen, and then we don't trust it and act on it. But when we do, that ripple effect, talk about impact, talk about legacy, talk about world changing, mountain moving. I mean, because what you do with your work is move mountains. When you were just talking about the person who writes the book, by the way, I have to say this, the person who writes the book, the person who does the interior design, these are clients of yours that you have been part of their life. This isn't, you didn't just make up a story. Like, these are real people who are out there living in their divine purpose and
Yes.
having a huge impact in this world. And the amazing part of it all, you get to do that and love it and have fun and make money and right?
And a client messaged me yesterday, and again I share this because to inspire anybody who might be listening today. And she was a client who, much like us, who had been in a corporate job, would say that she loved her life, like would love her job, loved it, but was a lot of sacrifices that came with it that she just accepted as, well, that's just that you can't have everything, like it would be being greedy, you have this amazing home and these beautiful kids and da, da, da. And she rang me, she messaged me, she left me a voice note just saying she was crying. So obviously I was like, I'm listening to this voice note, I'm like, God, are you okay? But it was just this emotion. She said, I'm just sitting here, I'm at this retreat. She was at this fabulous retreat at this villa. She'd been serving these incredible women who've gone on a retreat for the last few days, because she's now left corporate, she's fully immersed in her business. And she's like, I'm sat here like literally so full of love, like so full of gratitude that this is my life. Like, this is my life. Like, thank you so much for coming into my life and just give me a glimpse of what might be possible for me. And I'm like, and you know me, I'm always like, I might have opened the door, but you walk through it, right? Like you have to have the courage at the end of the day to come and do it. But
Yes.
it's that thing, just that moment of just hearing her fully in her power, fully in her presence, completely in love with her life. No sacrifices, no compromise, but it would be great. Like, literally can't believe the impact she's having, the money she's earning, the life she's changing, the legacy she's leaving, and she gets to see her kids every single day if she wants to. Like, doesn't have to
Yeah.
compromise.
And I think I know exactly who you're talking about because I know her and she's amazing. And I've been following what she's doing at the minute. And she does.
Yeah.
She exudes happiness,
It just,
exudes it, and unapologetic. And that's how we all get to be. You just have to choose it, right?
you have to
And you have to
choose it.
decide.
But you know what? And I hate to be a complete like party pooper with this, but the reality is that most of this starts with awareness of like, where are you not really happy right now? Because I thought I was happy.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
did. You thought
Yeah.
you were happy. And we were relatively to like seeing what my parents had grown up dealing with.
Yes. I'm laughing for a reason. It's like, okay. We did not plan this out, by the way, much to the chagrin of like Donna has like some very great people who work with her who were trying to make us plan this, and we don't plan. But you like segued into something that I knew I wanted to talk about, which was my journey with you as a coach. Because when I talk, I've talked in my podcast, I've talked on social media, I talk all the time to people in person. When I talk about my coaches, it's you and Cheryl. Now is your time. My coach is now is your time, and that by the vehicle of you and Cheryl, putting it out there. And it made me think about my first real coaching session with you.
It was fun.
It
was real. It's like 7 years ago. 7 years.
7 years ago.
2018.
Yeah. 7 years ago, right when you started the business, right when you decided, and I do want you to share your leaving corporate story, if you don't mind, but right when you decided to leave corporate and set up this business, which was bold and brave, and it was divinely led, but I sat in your living room where you're sitting right now, and I've worked through my little document you've given me, and I had in my head what I wanted, right? What I wanted to get out of this. And I was already living my dream life, or so I thought, right? Which was, I had more flexibility. I had more time freedom. I was making great money. All the things, had the family, I was there on holiday, all the things. And I just wanted you to like tell me how to make a bit more money, because like in my head, if I made like, I had actually had a dollar amount in my head. If I made that much money, then everything would be easier and better. Everything would be yes and if I made that much money, right?
Yeah.
And so I sat there with you, and like you didn't tell me how to make more money. Like you didn't just like, I was ready. Like I was like, okay, what's step one in making more money, right? And what you did instead was deconstruct things and dig through the rubble, as you call it, and find limiting beliefs and find things that were actually holding me back from stepping into this version of me that I was supposed to be. And I didn't like it.
There was definitely resistance.
I was a little teeny tad bit resistant. I was like, what is this? Like, no, this is not what I want. I think I said to you, this is not what I was wanting.
It's not what I was signing up for.
This is not what I wanted. And like, I didn't think this. And I was super skeptical. And you were just like,
Brett called it boo hockey, remember? Like Brett was like, it's boo hockey.
Yeah.
Like, just the process, Brett.
Just the process. And I mean, and then I was leaving, and so I went away with stuff, and then you and I and Cheryl, I continued my coaching journey. That was before I knew what Zoom was before any of us used Zoom.
We had to explain how to use Zoom.
You had how many times you had to explain how to use Zoom. And I remember sitting in the old version of this house at the dining room table, because that was my office, and I was like 60 pounds heavier That was
Yeah.
one of the things, by the way,
That
we
was
discovered that.
that was like one of the major things for you. It was just like you felt like you couldn't be you in that body.
Yeah. And I remember coming out of that first session going, well, okay, so I wanted you to tell me how I was going to make more money. And you just told me that the root cause of my problems right now are that I'm overweight and I don't like it. And I was like, seriously? Seriously? But I stuck with it, right?
You did. You were a
I
hero.
stuck with it, kept coming back for more, of the, this is where you're stuck. And through doing the work consistently and looking at where I was stuck and the limiting beliefs and what was holding me back and the stuff that was not pretty and the stuff that I had been avoiding and putting a plaster on and burying and all of that. And it's like I woke up 7 years later and I'm in a dream house in a body that I love.
In a dream body.
in my own business, living out this life that I literally wrote down one day after talking to you was my magical day, my magical life. I designed this house. I designed this life. I designed it all from morning to night with such clarity and detail. And I'm literally walking around in it right now. And then what do you say to me? I get to then do more. And now what's next?
And what's next? Let's keep going.
And so, you are my coach, and you've always been in that kind of coaching leadership capacity, right? In the jobs you've had. I mean, you've got 30 plus years of this experience.
It's really depressing, isn't it, when we say it's like, because when we started the business, it was like 20 years. We're like, oh no, it's like nearly 30 years coaching experience now. That's really scary.
So, but you made this kind of hard shift. It wasn't even a little pivot. I mean, it was a full pivot.
It was a burn the bridges pivot.
So that was, I presume, the pursuit of a yes and life. Like, how did you do it? What was behind that?
Yeah. And I love sharing this because I just think so many of us have these moments in our lives and then talk ourselves out of them. Like, I won't be the only person that's had these moments, but I think not enough of us sit up and listen to them. I think a lot of us did in COVID. I think that made a lot of people sit up, but I feel like the apathy set in now in a lot of different ways. But like coming around on the cycle again.
The comfort, I'm fine.
Yeah.
The F word that I do not like to use.
Fine. Scariest word ever. Fine. But yeah, for me, it was like one of those beautiful universal sequence of events that just kind of these drop-ins. And it had started with the fact that I had never, ever not worked. Like I literally left uni and I was in work like the next, and that was it. Like I would be made redundant and in the car, like knowing that I was going to a redundancy conversation, I would have lined up the next job. Like I was that good. Do you know what I mean? And I found myself in this period where I had months where I'd ended a contract I had a consultancy business and hadn't taken another consultant contract. Like it was quiet and I was like, oh, enjoy it. I went to New York, spent a lot of money, did all the things. And then it got the new year and I was like, oh my God, I probably need to find a job now or find another contract. And it was quiet. Nothing was happening. And I remember having a conversation with a lady at the time in the January who had left her job, very well paid at Canary Wharf, and had set up her own business as a health coach online. And I'd never heard of anything like that. I'd literally never heard of it. And I was like, you do what? And I remember my mind being blown because it was a Friday afternoon. And she was like, right, well, I've got to go now because I'm walking the dog and then going to the pub. And as a corporate girl, I was like,
what?
Like, what? Do you know what I mean? Because even though I was looking for contracts, I wouldn't let myself like leave the kitchen island or the kitchen table. I would work looking for something or doing something or
it was your job.
Rewriting procedures or doing something for the business up until 5 o'clock. I treated it like a job. And that kind of blew my mind. And what she said to me, and I said, I can't imagine that. And she said, but what would your life be like if this was your life? Like, and I got so upset, I had virtually hung up the phone. Like I couldn't, because I was like, these are flights of fancy, love. It's all right for you with your ex-Canary Wharf job. You probably got hundreds of thousands in the bag. Like, this is what obviously the human me
built
was
the
saying.
Story.
Yeah, I was like, it's all right for you, but I've got like a mortgage to pay and parents to look after. Like, I can't just like, la, 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 la. And then, as the universe has it, she will keep giving you nudges. So when you are not listening to her. And, one friend, I was like, this is so weird that I can't get a contract. Like months later, I'm like, this is crazy. Like, what's going on? And I remembered her saying, I don't know why this is happening, but it's happening for you. Like something great is going to come from this. Because this is so not like you're not to work. Something amazing is going to come. And I'm like, well, what is it? I'm ready to find out now. And then had this other conversation with somebody who said, well, what would you really look if you could do anything? Oh, well, I'd love to have a coaching business. I spoke with this lady a few months ago, and like she had this business, and she didn't work Friday afternoons. and I said in 5 years, and she sent me and I said in 5 years, I will have by the time I'm 50, I will have started a coaching business and will be able to exit corporate. That was the plan. That was the 4th of April. And by June, our business was set up. And all I committed to was 15 minutes a day. And at the time, Cheryl's dad passed away at the end of May. But the seed had been planted. And I think this is the thing, is when you just make the decision. I made the decision that I was going to set up a coaching business. And I gave myself 5 years grace to do this. And Claire, you know this. People in our world, we say, when's it going to happen? They say 5 years. We're thinking 5 months in our head. We just nod along politely. We'll know because time will collapse. As soon as you make that decision, a new timeline opens, a new pathway is literally like, it's like the quantum field goes, here you are, have it. And straight away in that moment, you are already quantum jumping.
Already there. Yeah.
You're already there. It's already done. In my head, it was already done. So within months. And then that was how it happened, because once that seed was set and it was like, it grew so rapidly, there was just never any going back for us. There just wasn't. There just was never any. Did I have moments where it was hard in that first year and we had no money coming in? And I'd be like, right, okay, do I have to go get a job? I would think it, but it didn't. It never happened. You know what I mean? It just didn't work that way. And for me, that's what, when you really listen to your Dharma, when you listen to your heart, when you tune in, Cheryl and I always said, it was like, we would have days where it was hard, but it was just a different hard. Like we'd have worries. It wasn't that we didn't have worry. We literally we burnt the boats. We didn't have hundreds of thousands in the bank to spend. I had the bit I had gone and spent in the months when I was still trying to look for a job, thinking, why can't I get a job? You know what I mean?
Right.
So it was very, but it was just the most liberating feeling. Like I just remember thinking, I'm so scared and so happy every single day. And I'd never felt that kind of happiness other than having my child. Like I'd never experienced that freedom because I just literally was so in love with my life. Like it was, it was nothing like I'd ever experienced in my corporate job. And it's not about the corporate job. There are plenty of people out there who get that same high from their corporate job. I'm not saying everybody has to leave. But what I'm saying is, it's like, have that awareness of like what really lights you the F up, right? Like what really, really lights you up. Not what you think lights you up. Like what lights you up at a heart, soul, somatic level, like where you literally feel like a Christmas tree every day.
And not what you think should, right?
Not what you think should. Yeah.
Or, well, I've already spent this much time doing this, so let's just throw more time on it.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's the diminishing returns mentality that so many people have.
Yes.
Well, I've spent so much money becoming a lawyer. I've spent so much money becoming a doctor. Like I've spent so much time in this marriage. I've spent so much, and it's like, well, I'm in it. And how many people would say to me, well, but I'll retire. And I'm like, how old are you? 45. When do you retire? What, another 20 years? You're telling me that you're just going to sit it out and then enjoy your retirement? What if you don't make it a retirement? Why do you want to wait till you're nearly 70 to enjoy your life? What the hell is that?
When you could be doing it right now. And that's, I think, what you have lived out since starting the business. And part of it as well is you had certain things that you required for your family, right? To get to spend time and the time freedom and those moments where it kind of back to when I was outsourcing my life and you were, so that you didn't have to miss Caleb coming home from school. You didn't have to miss his
doctor's appointments. Do you remember that? And do you remember doctor's appointments where I'd be like on speakerphone with my sister from 180 miles away while she was in the room with my son, and me striking saying, it's not good enough. This has been going on for months with him. And she's just like holding the phone up. And, all those moments. And Neil would miss them too, right? My husband, he missed him being in the plays and doing the things, and had this inflexible job where he could not get time off unless he booked it months in advance. and miss some plays and school and sports days that he'll never get to have that time back. And that was one of the best things, because Neil works in Now's Your Time Now as well. And, you know, he's been with us since COVID, so like 5 years now. So Caleb doesn't remember Neil missing things. He doesn't remember me missing things. He doesn't remember Neil, his dad, missing things. And for Neil to just, every time he stood on that field at sports day, it made my heart like swell with love, because you could see how much it meant to him. So it hasn't just changed like my life, and like I get to swan around and go and speak here and speak there. And I mean, I'm in Menorca speaking for a week at a retreat, like in a couple of weeks. Like, how was that even my life, people? Right. And then, but it's not that it's just changed my life, it's changed our whole family's life. Like, my mum needs to go to a hospital appointment. Great. One of us can definitely take it. Right. She needs some help with something. Not a problem. One of us can be there in the next few hours. Like, my parents aren't old, but they're getting older, and we want to be able to help them. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And it all starts with you stopped buying into the lie. I stopped buying into the lie that it had to be hard, that there had to be sacrifice, that you couldn't have it all, that scarcity was to be expected. Yeah. You couldn't, there was always a trade-off. There was always this, that, and we stopped buying into the lie, and we decided we were worthy of more. We decided we got to have more. We could have, now, neither one of us has sat back just like, in our way into a business and a life that we love. Neither one of us has done that. But we decided what we wanted. We decided we got to have it all. And then we listened and we took action. And that's the thing. You're one of the hardest working people I know, in terms of you are constantly working on something. You're constantly thinking and growing and reading and working on things that are developing you and expanding you. Always, you do it from the garden every once in a while, where I get to see your legs, and go and check out some of the posts lately. She's been doing a lot of really mind-blowing work from the garden. 100%. Right, in the sunshine.
When the sun is out in England, you make the most of it, and you work in the garden.
You make hay in the sun. The work that you are doing, I mean, you started this, and I do want people to know a little bit about mind coding and the rewiring, because, by the way, now our children, Caleb, Lydia, Ava, our children use the words actively rewiring. Like, my kids say rewiring all the time. Do I need to rewire that? Do I need to recode that? That's something I need to work on. Like, they understand that their brain is not set the way it is, and these thoughts in this world is not the way it has to be. They know now that they can fire all of these, what are they called?
The neurons,
neurons. They can, yes, and they can rewire. And so our kids now just presume that's that's part of life. That's legacy building, that our kids will never buy into that lie anymore. But will you explain what mind coding is? Because I talk about it a lot. I remember it was a thought you had, an idea you had, and you told me about it on one of our walks.
We were
2 years ago.
When you were home, and we were walking along the pier, and we loved it. We would get so many good ideas when we're by the water, and we were like, what's the next 5 years going to do? And we were like, well, we've got this thought, we've got this idea, because at the end of the day, ultimately, we can coach so many people. Let me back that up. When I first started the business, I remember one of my old bosses, I was chatting to him the other day, saying to me, will you teach other people to do what you've done? And I said, I probably will when I get to a certain level of success. I don't know what that is, by the way. Again, it's one of these fictional bullshit milestones you make for yourself. And I checked myself a couple of years ago and was like, yeah, this is how successful do you be before you share what you do? But I got very, I think, jaded with how I see coaching being done. And I feel like we've evolved past. I mean, I never coach like your bog standard coach anyway. Ask anyone that I ever coached. That was never me. I could just see people, not dead people, but just see them. I could see everything already. So they come and sit in the room for the one-to-one. I could just see them. I could see what they were capable of. And I wanted them to see it as well. I'm a reflector in human design, which means that generally speaking, my gift is that I don't have to do anything, and you can be around me and you can see something in you that you probably haven't seen before. So mind coding really was, Cheryl and I had this vision of, what if coaching wasn't just coaching anymore? It's like, it's this bridge we created with mind coding where we're bringing together neuroscience and psychology and the somatic connection to all of it. But that everything is underpinned by spirituality, not religion, I hasten to add, because it's like, I'm not anti-religion by any way, shape or form, but like spirituality is like agnostic, isn't it? It's about the underlying principle that sits under all of that, this oneness and connection that we all experience and we all really seek deep down. And mind coding was, the vision was always that it would bring that all together, so that when you're coaching someone, you are really genuinely coaching them at a spiritual, a psychological, and a somatic level, so that, because you need all three of those things to shift to get a result. From when we're sitting, coaching is still done in the mainstream in a very results oriented fashion. So people are sitting talking about the result, talking about your weight, or talking about the money that you're earning and trying to change that. But that's the end result of everything else, of the spirituality, of the identity, of the things that you're thinking about it, of how you're feeling about it, because we manifest based on how we're feeling. We live in a universe that is, its language is frequency based. You know, Einstein said that, Tesla said that. This isn't a me thing. But what we understood is, it's like people understood, like they got a bit about law of attraction and they got a bit about neuroscience, but they didn't know how to then change their life. They didn't know how to change their brain, the actual technology of the brain, and change the program, the software that's in the hardware. They didn't know how to do that. And we're like, we know how to do that. We do it all the time. Let's create something that shows them. But you know, helps them feel purposeful, because it's really about legacy, right? For all of us now, when we get to a certain point in life and we worry less about the money we're making and the impact and more about the impact that we're having. We wanted it about you understanding how powerful you are. Like you said before, we always think we haven't got the answers and somebody else has, but you haven't. You've got the answers.
You've got the answers.
And we wanted them to have this prosperous life, which is not prosperous just in money, but prosperous in this overflow of abundance, of health, of joy, of love, of feeling like you belong, of feeling like you matter. So we knew we could do that for our clients, but it was like, how do you then show people how to do that for their clients, or how to do it for themselves even? And that was really the vision of mind coding. And honestly, from you were one of in our first ever collectives, cohorts of people to become an accredited practitioner of mind coding. There's been another one since you, and just seeing the difference it is making. Because the kind of crazy effect was the impact it had on your life, even though you've been a student, even though you've been a client of it, being the student, it's like going behind the curtain in the Wizard of Oz, isn't it? And going, well, this is the tool we're using when we did that. And this is the framework we're using. And this is the blueprint we're using. And this is the, you know, the blend. And you all had such huge personal shifts going through the program to learn the tools. And then the ripple effect is then how many more people then you guys then impact through using the tools in your families, in your communities, with your clients. It's like better than anything we ever even envisioned.
It truly is incredible. And I, me along with a few others, you know, said we would come to the opening of an envelope that you had, right? And whatever it is you do, we're there for it. And so I just jumped in, not understanding one jot of what it was going to be, right? And jumped in and fully participated during, I'm just going to go on record as saying the hardest year of my entire life.
Yeah.
I haven't gone into a whole lot of detail around it, but you know, the hardest year of my entire life. And I jump into this science-backed, intense, because there was a lot went with it, right? Certification program on top of working and being a mom and a wife and all of the things. And I jump in thinking I'm crazy for doing this, and that's the very reason I need to do it.
Yeah.
And immediately what I was learning through the program real time helped me in the struggles I was having at the time and getting through a lot of it. And not just getting through it, but thriving through it. And experiencing and living through it without shutting down. But I was also immediately able to start using it with my clients, because I had active clients during that period, and starting doing it. And they were starting to have real world, real time shifts in their lives where I was seeing the light go on with them. They were telling me, and I work with really top performing, high capacity, high earning people at the top of their game, who find themselves stuck. Stuck is the word I hear all the time. I'm just stuck. And on paper, everyone wants their life, right? And they're stuck. There's some aspect or many aspects of their life that just aren't working. And in doing some of the mind coding work with them, and in trusting in my divinely given gifts, and I've never been a coach, and I have people, because these are top performers, they've worked with coaches in the past, right? They've worked with their companies have paid for coaches, and they're wanting me to give them the outline and the matrix and the things, right? And the structured plan thing. And there is a plan, because it ends up being sent real time, right? But we work on what is in front of them and where they'll get the best result for themselves in that moment, not the thing.
Not the cookie cutter.
No, it's not cookie cutter. It is not a one size fits all. It goes back to what I experienced with you in my first coaching session, which was, I wanted you just to tell me how to make more money. And you told me to go work on this, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was the thing. And most of my clients come to me not knowing what the thing is, right? I've been able to see people's lives shift in such monumental ways, where people are telling me their marriages are better than ever. Things are happening in their business and their careers that they could have never imagined. They're healthier than they've ever been. They're happier than they've ever been. They're more equipped to deal with the life has still been coming at them. It's not like all of a sudden they hit the easy button on life. They didn't, but they knew how to show up every day, and they trusted in that. And time does collapse and results do show up. You've just got to trust in the process. And so mind coding is, back to what you said to Brett all those years ago, mind coding has been phenomenal for me. And I've seen the ripple effect. You and Cheryl will never know these people that mind coding has touched that I get to work with. And then everyone else. I mean, and on a lovely little walk to the beach 2 years ago, when you
and we're like, I think
told
we
me
need
about
to do
this idea.
I saw, it's like when I see you quoting like things that your clients have said, it's like literally like the biggest hug. I saw somebody else who was a mind coding practitioner on LinkedIn, and somebody had posted and tagged her saying like, this woman is literally the best coach ever. Like, my money mindset has completely changed, like my businesses. And I was like, and she doesn't know who I am. And then like, I'm reading this book, and it's like the best feeling ever. Like, it must be like when when I'm watching Caleb doing something and you just really, it's that thing of just, it's the paying it forward.
He's doing it all, but you got to be a part of it too. And you got to activate it. And
it's the activation. Yeah. And again, we can give you the tools, but it's, you get to use it and align it to your dharma, to your greatness, to bring out the best thing that you want to do in your business and your legacy and in your life. And, it's something you said before, where you said about, everyone, it's the ripple effect. If everyone going away and just doing something and just, making one person's life better that day. And something really struck me when you said that, is because I think as women, we can get in our heads and have our imposter syndrome and our comparisonitis take over a lot as well, where we go, oh no, but I haven't written a book. I'm not a doctor. I haven't done a TEDx. I haven't, built my own house and designed my own house. I haven't done, and honestly, it's not about that. My favorite moments are when we pay it forward, or when we're just out of our heads and get out of our own arses so much that when we're sitting opposite someone and we can see they've had a crappy day and we're like, how are you? And we really mean it. Do you know what I mean? Or say, you look beautiful in that. I remember seeing this lady on holiday a couple of years ago, and I loved her so much. This leopard print, and I was like, oh my God, I love your costume. You look beautiful. And she just stopped and looked. She said, thank you so much. I've been crying for an hour in the room. I didn't want to come out of the room. And we are still friends now. We still keep in touch now. And it's like, to me, it's those moments like that, to me, is when you have an impact on someone, when you just see them. But we're all running around in our own troubles, in our own worries. It's not about writing the book. It's not about doing those things. It is about you just like getting so present in your life that you notice these moments where you can be of service, where you can have a connection, where you can connect with yourself, where you can connect with your child, with your husband, with your partner, with whoever, and just be. And like, just, I stood yesterday in the park, I kid you not, and I must have stood for 5 minutes just watching the cherry blossom blow from the tree. And I literally just couldn't get over how beautiful it was. That was it. Like, and then obviously I got my phone out and tried to film it. And I was like, it just doesn't look the same on the phone. But it's like,
no.
And I was like, I had to stand. And Neil gets me now. So he'll just stand patiently and wait for me. He's like, to have my moment. And I could have.
Gabby will lie down.
Gabby had to lie down. Bulldog has to lie down. And I literally was moved to tears just at the beauty of that moment.
Just watching
cherry blossom, this magical confetti blowing around.
And I saw this amazing post on LinkedIn, I think yesterday, where it had a comparison, because you are all about the brain as well, and you are all about, you're about the woo and the witchy woo, but you're also about the science, right?
Yeah.
And you love a bit of science, and there is no one who is more researched and I mean, you've literally got a doctorate in this, right? Than you, so you love the science behind it and the and the research, and you've written on it many times. But there was something I saw on Facebook, and it had a before and after of a brain. And it had a few slides, so it was a brain looking at Instagram, like, and it showed you what was lit up in the brain. It was like dopamine and something else, I don't know. A brain looking at a tree, everything fired up, right?
It fires
a
up.
Brain, buying something online, a brain giving a gift to a friend. I mean, it was like
a Christmas tree.
It was all of these things where the things that we think are going to make us feel better, like scrolling on social media or, whatever it is, all of these things are not these things that are being part of the world, getting outside, getting in nature. I know it's something you do every day, and you've inspired me to do that. Going for a walk, looking at a tree.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to hug the tree, hug the tree.
The tree will
hug
love
the tree. The tree will hug you back. But I have started going down that path of
oh my God,
the science behind trees.
I'm planting plants at the minute, and I talk to every single one of them and set an intention when I plant it. Honestly, we've gone to the dark side.
We're all connected. My Lydia is like, Mom, seriously, it's cringe. Mom, stop it. Oh, but all of that it shows you what is happening within our brains, and we've in the pursuit of fast and more stuff and this and that and this fast moving world, we're doing ourselves a disservice, and we're doing our kids' brains a disservice. We're doing everyone a disservice. And so I love, and I don't doubt for a minute you stood and looked at the cherry blossom, and you probably, if you had a chance, brought other people into it and said, look at this cherry blossom, Yes.
Because it is. Life is, the older I get, the more I just know that life is made up of a compilation of all those small moments. It really is. And getting present in it. And from a science perspective, you cannot, I mean, you used to talk all the time, Claire, about white knuckle in your life and white knuckle in your manifestations. The thing that was beautiful about us sitting as those young girls dreaming up our dreams and designing our life was we had no attachment to it. We were just in the wonder and the awe, and everything was possible. And when you can stay in that, like, this is the science, that you're always creating new synaptic connections. You're always creating new brain cells, new pathways when you are thinking like that, and when you're dreaming it up and you're getting involved without and it has to happen or else life will be shit, or it has to happen or else I'm a crap mom, we were just in the awe of God, what might happen. And I think some of us somewhere along the line lose that. I think life can knock it out of us a little bit, and we let our doubts, our imposter syndrome take over. And I think if we can just stay in that, if we can just stay in the possibilities of the what ifs of, I was with a friend last week who, she's an incredible woman, and she has now set up 3 7-figure businesses in her 50s now, started business around the same time as we did. And she's like she's just bought a dream house, and she's like driving through the double electric gates going, I can't believe this is my house. I feel like I'm in an Airbnb. It's like it's someone's house. And I'm like, isn't that amazing? But the woman who was tens of thousands in debt in a very unhappy narcissistic relationship a decade before that wouldn't have believed that version. But because it's like, what have you got to lose? What have you got to lose? All those years ago when we started the business, it was, yes, I want to have an impact on someone. And yes, but there was part of it that was just literally like, I'm going to be in that box that Cheryl's dad is in one day. And I don't want to be saying, well, I would like an extra couple of years to do something, because you were given all these years. Like, what did you do with them? Did you make them count? Or did you scroll your way through them on Instagram, looking at other people doing it?
Other people doing it, having FOMO, comparisonitis, letting the imposter take over, letting the limiting beliefs win.
Overwhelm you.
Because it was safe and it was known. And what if, and what if, and what if. And instead, choose the other. Delusional thought.
Be delusional. And
be delusional.
Give yourself a break, because there's nothing wrong with you that you're scared to do that. Like, your whole system, your brain, your body, everything is geared to keep you safe and sat in that armchair flicking on Netflix every night. Like, everything. It doesn't want you to do anything out of the ordinary. It just wants you to be alive. Like, that's all it's trained to do. It doesn't give two shakes of a cat's tail whether or not you're happy, and it certainly doesn't give a shit if you're in overflow. Like, it just wants you to be alive. So you are going to have to learn, which again, like, I guess that's what Mind Code is about as well. It's like, how do you become a master of your technology? How do you change the software? Because if you're watching a film and that's the movie of your life and you don't like the film, there is no point throwing things at the screen. Like, you've got to go in and physically change the film. Like, you've got to put a different film on. You've got to go into Netflix, you've got to go into the menu, you've got to put a different film on. That's what we're doing effectively in Mind Coding. And we want everyone to have the tools on how to do that, because, like, I don't know why we're not teaching it in schools. I really don't. Like, that's I mean, what was the point of algebra? Like, I have no idea, but this stuff would actually make a difference. But it's all we can do is the power of one. We're learning it. We're sharing it with you guys. You guys are sharing it with your kids. You guys are sharing your communities. Like, that's what we can do. And we are in a time when it has never been more important for us culturally as a collective consciousness to wake up and play our role in this. It has never been more important for us to do this than it is right now.
And that's something that I've fully embraced and embodied from doing the work with you, is that my part to play in this, no matter what its size, is important and valuable and needed. And if we all were able to just do our little bit collectively, the world changes. And I'm so glad you did say it's normal to have all of those fears, and it absolutely is. The hard work is doing the work to see them. That was one of the best things I ever learned from you. They're not my enemy. They're not there to sabotage me. They're there to keep me safe. And so when you can give the healthy respect that's due to our systems, our bodies, our brains, trying to keep us safe, and see it, and give it a little bit of airtime and say, I see you, okay, and I choose this instead, and I choose this instead. And to continue doing that, it gets easier and easier, by the way. You get faster and faster at it. But it's something I do every day. Do you have to work on this I do it every
single day. Every single day there is a new challenge or a new mountain. It's sometimes small mountains, sometimes small hills, sometimes big mountains. And that's good for me. That's healthy. On days where I don't have that, I'm like, what am I doing with my life? But it's, it's perfectly normal to have those fears. It's perfectly normal to feel paralyzed by them sometimes, but it's a choice. It's a choice to stay paralyzed. It's a choice to keep living in the fear.
Watching that.
It's a choice to keep
program
scrolling.
On Netflix.
100%. And like when as Maya Angelou said, when you know better, you do better. Like once I learned that I actually could choose the thoughts that I think and therefore choose the results that I have, I'm like, well, I can't unknow that now. And you can't now. You're listening to this, whoever's that you know that you actually have more power than you ever believed was possible. Like you can't unknow that now. So it's a choice then what you do with it. It is a choice. I just knew I did not want to go to the grave thinking, please God, give me another deal, give me another week.
Give me some more time.
What have you done
Give
with the
me more
ones that I
time to
gave
do
you?
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to have any regrets. I just want to, I can say, well, what if it goes wrong? What if it goes wrong? Or I can say, what if it goes right? Like,
Yeah.
both things will take up the same amount of time. One will take up a lot more energy than the other. One will have more of a pleasant outcome than the other.
It is absolutely the best way to live. I want people to know, I love that you said you can't unknow this now. Now that you've heard it, you can't unknow it. What you do with it next is up to you. Some people will file it away and remember it at some point. Some people will want to take action on it right now. Some people will ignore it and it'll keep prodding at them. Someone will say something, you go, oh, it was just like those two girls from South Shields said the other week. Oh my goodness. Whatever happens is the right thing for you at the time. I want people to know that. I've gotten really good at knowing that. Timing is everything, and you are where you're meant to be. If people want to work with you, how do they do that? I see the book behind you on the shelf. You have a book. I mean, you have actually written the book.
Wrote the book. It's on Audible, Become the Real You. The book is a great place to start because you can get it on Amazon. It's super easy. Become the Real You. And it's got free resources to help you find your purpose and all the rest of it. You can go and watch the TEDx talk on, just put my name in, or Cheryl's name. You'll find it on YouTube. Or we've got this great resource as well called the Imposter Syndrome Solution, because most people, it's their imposter syndrome in the way.
It starts with that.
It starts with it. So come and jump into Instagram at Now's Your Time too. I know all the notes will be in the show reel and stuff, but come and drop us a DM if you don't know where to start. But just do something. None of us all of a sudden woke up one day and we're like, I've got all the confidence in the world to chase these dreams. No, you will get the confidence on the way to doing it. So if most of you will say it's the confidence, if I was more confident, I would. If I didn't doubt myself, no, let's just take that off the table. Go and download the Imposter Syndrome Solution, and then that's that one dealt with. Because just start, because it's the not starting that you'll regret. You'll never, ever, ever regret starting. I started with 15 minutes a day of working towards my dreams, and look where we are 7 years later.
And that's something I talk to my clients about a lot. It's the small, incremental, consistent changes. We all tend to go, we need to go big, and then we don't keep it up, and then we don't get the results, and then it proves the whole
evidence that it doesn't work.
That it doesn't work, and time will pass anyway. Me sitting in that living room 7 years ago, the stuff I've done between now and then to unpack and to dig through the rubble.
Yeah. Messy.
Yes, I resisted.
It has been messy at times.
It's been very messy. And look at where I am now. And it's not about the things. This is where I could get it. What it's about is I get to wake up every day and have that feeling, and I feel it even no matter what's coming at me. I feel good. I feel good inside. If I have a moment of not feeling good, I know how to get myself to that feel good place. And because it starts with me, once I can get myself to this place, then I can reach out to my kids, to my husband, to my loved ones, to the person that I'm going to go see at the grocery store. And maybe just because I've got the energy to do it, because I've got it in me to do it, I might be able to just switch their day just a little bit. And that's what it's all about. And so the money and the stuff is fabulous, and I love it. And I'm never going to say no to it, and neither will you. But the fact that I get to wake up into this life that I couldn't have imagined 8 years ago, you helped me start imagining it 7 years ago. And I've continued, and it is only going to get better. It gets to get better and better and better, is the dream. And I get to live in my dream every single day. And I don't even want to think about what it would have been like without this.
No, I mean, it was quite the sliding door. Can you imagine? We'd still be in those jobs, counting the seconds till we got home to see the kids, panicking that what else we'd missed, feeling like crap mums, feeling like it would just be all of that. Like, because nothing would have really changed. I still see
Nothing
people
would have
sometimes
changed.
from my old life, and they're still sometimes at the same businesses, and it's the same things they're worried about, and it's the same, do you know what I mean? And it's like, I know that would have been me, because I would have just stayed on the hamster wheel doing the same things, just earning more money, just losing bigger and bigger chunks of my soul.
But honestly, Donna, I don't know that my body would have kept up though
yeah.
too, because my body started shutting down on me.
Yeah.
That's where it went for me. I could keep going mentally
Yeah.
in so many ways, but my body started giving
Your
out
body
on me,
was-
and that you can't get that back. You can't get the time back. You can't get the health back once it's gone. And
Yeah.
so that's where I feel so fortunate that I get to share my experiences and my teaching, what I'm learning from you and what I'm learning from life and what I'm learning from my inner guidance with other people, to hope that they don't ever get to that point.
I
where
totally agree.
Something gives. And I think that's what I want people. I want you to leave people with something, but what I want to leave people with is the yes and life is about you getting to have it all, and that includes you get to have a beautiful life that you live, and nothing has to give. Nothing has to give. You do not have to sacrifice one thing for the other. Your health for the client, your marriage for the money, your kids' happiness for the whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I can help you get there. Donna can help you get there. And we believe in this to our very core because we've lived it and we've seen it work over and over and over and over and over again for people. So I just want people to have that little bit of hope that you don't have to. And what do you want to leave people with?
It builds on what you said, really. It's almost like two, if I could split it to be really indulgent. One is that the desire that you have in your heart, that thing that you think is a pipe dream, that thing that you think is just like, well, if I had all the money in the world and I didn't have to worry about money and I didn't have to worry about time or whether or not like I had, back fat or my nose was too big, I would love to go and do this. Like, that's the thing that you are intended to do. That's the thing that God, universe, source, infinite intelligence, quantum field has imprinted in your plan, your life dharma for you to go and do. So like, trust it, like lean into it, just explore. Don't keep writing it off as a pipe dream. It's there with you for a reason and it won't go away. That'll be the thing that you regret not doing if you don't do it now. And then just building on what you were saying, you don't have to. The second thing that people say they can't do is because they don't know how to make it happen. You don't have to. Mm-hmm. That is not your job. Your job is just to listen to the universe speaking that wish through you and follow it. And it's always about one step in front of the other and the path will be revealed. Like, I think it was Rumi said, like, it's not that there is a path, like the way is the path. Like, you're creating it as you go. And there's a million different ways it could happen. You don't have to worry about it. Like, let the universe, God, take care of that. Like, you just get to be in your power, follow your purpose, and the path to all of that gets to unfold before you. It's the most fun, exciting, exhilarating, terrifying, oh my God, is this my life kind of experience. But it's so much fun. Like, just let go of the reins. You don't have to white knuckle this bit. And you won't believe how easy it will be when you start walking.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so I'm so glad you talked about the how, because that was where my brain went. Because a lot of people will dare to do some of the dreaming part of what is it I want. And then that little voice, that limiting belief pops up. Well, how will you do it? How is it? It hasn't been done like this. How? Don't worry about the how. Just keep asking yourself the question, which is the best question you can ask. What is it I want?
What is it I want?
What is it I want?
And just open it up to that infinite intelligence that gave you the desire in the first place. Like, tell me how to move. What is my next step? Show me. I'm ready. And when you start every day with that prayer, with that mantra, with that intention, the way is revealed. It is always revealed.
It's always revealed. I start every day with that prayer, thanks to you. And I actually go to sleep every night with a similar prayer, which is, I'll say what it is I want, what it is, the desire that I have. And I say
show me how. I don't know how. I
Yeah.
don't know how. Give me some ideas. Show me how. Open it up, whatever it is. And often I'll get dreams.
Yeah.
People will pop into my dream and I'm like, oh, is that
Yeah.
how? Okay. I don't know. I'm going to pursue it.
Yeah.
That it will come to you if you ask for it and you listen.
100%. And the universe is
That's
always
one of your
speaking.
favorite quotes, right? Be still.
Be still. Be still and know. It's on my arm. Be still and know. It's like to remind me when I'm looking for the answers to no. It's going to be still and know.
And know.
It's going to come.
We could talk all day, obviously.
Every day.
Every day. Well, yes.
All day, every day.
And I will say something. I was talking to someone the other day who she was telling me she's not always lived here, and she was feeling sad and isolated, like she hasn't made a really close friend group here. She's lived here a long time that she thought she would. And she said, you appear to be really happy and connected and what have you with the world. And, where did you find your friend group here? And I was like, if I think about it, actually, the people I am most connected with and the people that I have the most love and interaction with are actually not in the city. They're not in the state. They're not in the country. They're in a completely different country. And it's you, it's the other women in our mastermind, Limitless, which is a whole other story. We need to talk about that. And it's our other friend, Elaine, it's these bonds. So you don't have to be confined by geography. Technology has allowed us to talk to each other every day, and we take full advantage of that.
Yeah, we do.
And this has been an absolute dream. It's now late for you and you've got your family coming home, and I know you want to love on them and kiss them all, give them kisses from me. But thank you for taking the time to do this, for all of your wisdom and your vulnerability and thoughts. And I know people will benefit from reaching out to you. I know they will. I have. My life has changed and will forever be better because of you. And I just hope people take a chance on that. If they feel it in their heart, like they need to do something, or reach out to me and I can put you in touch with Donna. And I'll put stuff in the notes, but you are my love. I love you.
Love you. And thank you for listening to your call and sitting in the discomfort as many times as you have. Like, when people say your personal development it's messy. It's a messy journey, but the rewards are always worth it. However you do it, whether it's buying a book or watching something or speaking to us, like however you do it, just do it. Every day of the week, just do it. It's ongoing work and it's always worth it. So thank you to you for shining a light and for doing this podcast and just for sharing that message that you can have your own life. Absolutely.
Yes. Every single one of us can. Well, I love you, my love.
I love you.
Thank you for everything. And will you please come back?
I will. If you'll have me.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, my friend, Dr. Donna. I love you.
Love you.
Talk to you soon. Thank you for joining me on the Yes and podcast. If this episode inspired you to say yes to more in your life, I'd love to hear from you. Subscribe, leave a review, and share with someone who needs to hear this message. Remember, life is meant to be lived fully, one courageous yes at a time. Until next time, I'm Claire Darr, cheering you on as you create a life of peace, purpose, and boundless possibilities. Keep dreaming big, and don't forget to say yes and